Hello, 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 everybody. How's everyone doing today? Welcome into stream. If you are new here, my name is Pete, and if you're not, welcome back. Today we're gonna be playing some more Cinderella Phenomenon. We're gonna finish, or, well, try to finish Rumpel's route. And if, it gets to a point where I'm ready to move on, I probably will end stream and then start it back up again and we'll play some Cult of the Lamb. So, yeah. But let's get into it. Continue. Okay, last time we left off with Rumpel, um, we found out he was a doctor. We're romancing Rumpel, like the flirty dude. But yeah, last time we found out Rumpel was a doctor, and yeah, and he had like part of a memory like come back in his book and stuff. And then he gave us a gift, and it was like a chocolate lily, and apparently lilies are our favorite flowers. So yeah. But this is chapter 4, and it starts off with a dream. But forgive me, sorry. You waited, but the children didn't come, did they? They promised they'd be back today. We even crossed pinkies. Promises are futile, dearest heart. But I've told you before, and I'll tell you again, people are selfish creatures. They will always put their own well-being before others. No one does anything selflessly. To put your trust in someone is weakness, Pete. Oh, sorry. Even those that make promises will only keep them if it benefits them. And you, my sweet, were obviously not beneficial to those children. So they didn't like playing with me? No, they did not. This mother sucks. I hate her. Come here, darling. You do not need those other children. The two of us can play together as we always do. I can always trust you, mother? Of course, my love. My head feels foggy. Maybe it was because it took me forever to fall asleep yesterday. And then, to make things worse, I ended up having that dream. Mother, you are the only one I can trust. Right? I slowly slide out of my bed and make my way over to the dresser. The little bag is still where I left it last night. I open it up and let the little white chocolate lily fall into my hand. Girl, it's gonna melt. Is he really trying to help me? I remember his face yesterday and his bright— Hi, Brad! I remember his face yesterday and his bright smile as he presented this to me. I slowly run my fingers across the delicate white petals. He couldn't have known lilies were my favorite flower. There's no reason to be sentimental about something like this. It's just silly. I'm about to put the flower back in the bag, but I stop, eyeing it once more. Slowly, I bring it to my lips and bite off a small petal. It is actually pretty good. I stuff the little flower back into the bag and make my way downstairs. So you're just gonna take a bite of the chocolate and not finish it? Weird. Alright. Martian. The Martian is not busy this early in the morning, but everyone is starting on their chores. At least I assume as much when I see Anise and then Waltz, who is helping her stack things. Then I hear rising voices and realize that it is not all calm, that not all is calm. At least I don't have to pretend to be something I'm not. You say you're not pretending when you go around flirting with all the female patrons day in and day out? You cannot seriously mean all of the drivel you spout. Karma and Rumpel stand on opposite sides of a table, staring each other down. A teacup filled with what looks to be cool tea sits close to Karma, abandoned. Flirting with a lady is not a crime. One day, your flirting is going to get you into even more trouble than it already has. I've never had a lady said I mistreated her. Not once. Oh, I'm sure I can at least. Wow, sorry. Oh, I'm sure I could. Wow. I'm sure many could attest to being more than slightly annoyed. You're only jealous that I can speak to ladies without a disguise, aren't you? Oh, whoa. Ooh. Karma slams his hand down on the table, shaking it. The tavern grows quiet. Waltz looks over, his eyebrows furrowed with worry. If you so much as make one more comment about my curse, then stop making comments about how I speak. Oh shit, fight, fight. I know, fight, 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 fight. I kind of would love to see that. Karma would definitely win, though, because he has, like, night training, but it still would be funny. The two continue to glare at each other. It almost looks as if Karma might circle the table and slap him, but the fight freezes as Jurian strides up to the two men. Karma would wreck this guy. He would! It's too early for the two of you I can already tell it's gonna be one of those days. It's too early for the two of you to already be at each other's throats. But he started it. All I did was make a comment. He was the one that picked a fight. There you go again, twisting words. Jurian stomps on the ground. The two men once again turn to look at her. It's my job to break up unnecessary fights, and I will do it. If you two must continue fighting, go do it somewhere else, like a forest, or like the forest where you can't disturb anyone. Both men turn away from each other, obviously agitated. Rumpel's expression is cloudy as he makes his way over to the bar to begin helping set the tables. Jurian notices me watching. She waves at me with a terse smile on her face. Sorry you had to wake up to that, princess. Why is my voice cutting out? Hello? Help! Ugh. Okay. I shrug as I make my way over to Mr. Broom. It is like waking up to... Yeah. It is like waking up to two children arguing. Agreed wholeheartedly. Jurian sighs before looking at me thoughtfully. Maybe you could have a word with Rumpel later? I have no idea how their argument even started, but maybe you can get to the bottom of it. I am not a babysitter. But I'd heard the two of you were partners? Anyway, hopefully this doesn't happen again. Good luck with your work today, princess. I feel like it just started because, Karma was calling him out for his excessive flirting, and then he made that comment, and so it went too far. And I think that was honestly it. So, yeah. Jurian walks off, vigilant as always. I notice Garland looking at her from the bar, a slight frown on his face. I start working around the tavern, starting first with the cleaning and then with the stacking. Laura makes snide remarks about my slowness as I work, and I try my best to ignore her while occasionally throwing her insults back at her. It is as if she has nothing better to do. She probably doesn't. The door to the tavern opens, and Parfait steps inside with a bright smile. She looks more energetic than usual. I wonder if this is because of Rumpel's medicine suggestions. Later, I manage to catch Rumpel when the two of us are both on break. He looks pleased to see me until I mention Karma. Why were the two of you fighting earlier? What a sad day it is that the princess talks about another man to my face. Just answer me. I was getting ready for the events of today. As always, speaking to the lovely women who filter in and out of this place. When the beast appeared behind me. Even his insults are dramatic. Are they? I don't know. I mean, Kinda accurate. Your flirting is distracting me, he proclaimed. Well, your flirting is annoying. But all I am doing is complimenting women. I am not impeding anyone's work. Though that I thought that the only reason he was calling me out on such a thing was because he was actually jealous. You should have seen his scowl. And here we go. So I politely told him to mind his business, but he was relentless, and when he continued to insult my demeanor, well, I had to say something back, but I wasn't the one to start the fight. Swear they both really do sound like children. No doubt Karma would be blaming Rumpel. Princess, you don't really think I'm so Wow. Princess, you don't really think I'm so confrontational, do you? I don't know. I think Karma is far more confrontational than Rumpel, but it does not help that Rumpel always snaps back at him. The two of you are both at fault. But Princess, in the end, you were still having a childish argument. I think that Rumpel might try to protest again, and I am surprised when he shrugs his shoulders and sighs. Yes, it was childish, because that man is a child. I roll my eyes. Ah, your irritated scowl chills my heart, Princess. I feel a tinge of excitement. I am leaving now. There is really no point in having this conversation. It is a problem between Karma and Rumpel. They aren't children. They can figure this out on their own. Oh, princess of my heart, why must you depart so early? I ignore Rumpel and leave him standing there where he is as I return to my shift a little early. Honestly, I would much rather focus on work than Rumpel. He can be just as tiring, if not more. Yeah. Though after what happened last night, I do not think he is as terrible as I thought. The days go on, and Rumpel and I speak only briefly during our breaks. Every day I eat another piece of the lily until only one is remaining. One afternoon, just before my break, Rumpel approaches me with a mischievous smile on his face. My lovely princess, how are you today? What do you want? Your cold shoulder is enticing. I have one more table to serve. Do not bother me. But princess, I've decided I know exactly how to teach you to be good. All of your other lessons have been useless so far. LOL. Please, just trust me. To put my trust in someone is weakness. I'm going to teach you how to flirt. What? What? Yeah, what? The first step to flirting is eye contact, princess. Wait, but why are you... Rumpel points at my customer, a young man sitting right beside the window. The second is to smile. Smile, princess, because I'm sure you look even more stunning when you do. Then you start a conversation with him. Body language is important. There are certain signals that key men into the fact that a woman is interested in them. I think playing with your hair is one, a gentle tap on the shoulder is another. I should have expected Rumpel to spout this sort of nonsense. Princess? The company's, companies? Wow. The customer's been waiting for a while now. Is something wrong? I noticed the customer looking at me expectantly. He is just some man, an usual customer that I actually see often. Oh, and Princess, don't forget the compliments. Make them as delicate and illus- oh wow, illustrative. That's where we go. Yep, illustrative as you can. I move away from Rumpel before he can muddle my thoughts any further. Already my feet feel like lead. I find myself staring at that man for far too long. The way he stares back at me, his expression so unreadable, suddenly makes me feel more uncomfortable. Do I really have to do what Rumpel says? I stop in front of the man and set down his tray, my eyes still on his. I do not have to follow Rumpel's advice, but for some reason my lips quirk. The smile on my lips, though, lasts all of a half second. Are you okay? We're flirting, I don't care. I think it'll be funny. We're flirting. I can feel Rumpel smiling at my back, as if this were anyone else but him, I would think it was some kind of prank. But considering this is the way Rumpel acts all the time, maybe he's really trying to help me. I try to recall how he flirted with his customers before. I cannot help but notice you were alone, sir. I'm always alone. Ah! My heart is thumping far too loudly in my chest. What kind of things does Rumpel usually say? Madam, you are the most beautiful thief I have ever met, for it is you who have stolen my heart and stolen my gaze. Your eyes are more captivating than the stars, my sweet. If I could, I would stare into them forever and lose myself in their majesty. You remind me of a rose with thorns, but the thorns are what makes the rose so alluring. All he does is spout complimentary gibberish. I will try to do the same. I will try to do the same. Oh no. How is it that you would always be alone when you have such lovely eyes? The customer stares at me baffled. I force myself to continue. Your eyes your eyes remind me of the leaves in fall as they flutter beneath the bright gaze of the sun and I stop. The words nothing more than a shallow lie make me feel strangely hollow. The man is just staring at me, but he looks uncomfortable. Still, I do not think he is anywhere near as uncomfortable as I am. Ma'am? Perhaps he would. My voice trails off. I bite my lips so hard I can taste something metallic. This man's expression is a mixture of awe and perplexity. I immediately turn away from him and walk off. Oh, my face is hot and I can feel anger boiling deep down inside of me. It was right! Oh, I was getting worried. I was like, what if it isn't right? Ah, princess! Leave me alone. Princess, we're not done. I do not care. Oh man, that was kind of funny. That was great. I ignore everyone's gazes as I make my way as quickly as wow, sorry. I ignore everyone's gazes as I make my way as quickly as I possibly can up the stairs into my room. So many as's in that sentence. Why? There I collapse on my bed and I and lay there with my arms outstretched. Why would I ever even thought of taking Rumpel's advice? Why would have? Why would I have ever? Yeah, whatever. All right. Hours go by, and eventually I realize that it is time to help a niece with the night chores. Now I am helping her restock some of the bottles that Waltz and Karma brought back from town. I hope Anise does not mention what happened earlier today. I slipped out of bed and head down to the main area of the tavern. The room is mostly quiet by the time I go downstairs. Parfait and Delora are talking to each other at a table. Karma passes me by as I walk downstairs. He looks exhausted and oddly frustrated. I make my way over to Anise, who is already putting bottles on the shelves. Oh, Princess, are you okay now? I am fine. Not that. Now, what did you need me to do? I can't read. Anise explains how restocking works. She shows me the labels on the shelves and. Bruh. She shows me the labels on the shelves and explains that the empty spots are where the new bottles go. It is not a hard job, and one I can easily do without thinking too hard. For a while, the only sounds that can be heard in the Martian are the bottles clinking against each other. Underneath that is the murmuring between Parfait and Delora. I have no idea what they are talking about, but they look serious, so it must be something important. So Princess, can I ask what life was like at the palace? Right. She cannot remember working at the palace before. I don't mean to pry, I was just making conversation. I would rather not. Oh, okay. Eventually, Parfait and Dolores stand from their seats and move to another room to continue their conversation. Anise breaks the silence again. The tavern is nice when it's quiet like this, isn't it? You can hear the sounds outside if you open a window. My hands move stiffly, placing bottles on the shelves by label. All I want to do is get the work done and then return to my room. It was like this at the old place that I used to work. I was hired by a rich family to be their maid. Their mansion was a beautiful place. You could hear the crickets if you were by the windows on the bottom floor. Seems like her memory has been twisted by my curse. She cannot remember working at the palace. All she remembers is working for a rich family. It was a nice place, Princess. There was a girl close to my age that had a radiant smile. Radiant smile. She must be talking about Emma Lane. The head of the mansion is a really kind man, and she goes suddenly quiet, a look of confusion coming to her face. She pauses and then shakes her head. I can't seem to remember anyone that was there, but I'm pretty sure they were all good people. At least I'd like to think so. I was just a bad maid. She was. Because of her, Dolores' dress was torn. I was too ashamed to tell one of the mistresses that I couldn't save her doll. Save her doll? Anise looks down, her smile wistful. I was fired on my first day because I couldn't save one of the mistress's dolls. I was the one cleaning the shelves that day, and when I went in, I saw a crow had come in through the open window and was pecking at one of the dolls. Oh, shoot. I shooed it away, but I was too late. The doll had a little rip in its chest, and I was fired for not doing my job properly. That's so sad! So it wasn't Anise who ripped Dolores' dress, but a bird? Is this why Dolores insisted Anise deserves an apology? What happened after you were fired? Lady Parfait found me on the streets. I couldn't go back to my aunt's house, not after what happened. She never liked me anyway. Anise's face clouds briefly with sorrow, but the expression is short-lived. I can never forget the day I met Lady Parfait. I told her I would be able to help her and anyone else that got sick. That I could even do all the cooking since I've been making meals for my father since I was a young girl. I begged her to take me in, and she did. I owe Lady Parfait a lot. Why didn't you go back to your father after you were fired? Your father's probably dead. Yeah. My father passed away a while ago. My mother died giving birth to me. My father was an herbalist, and he taught me a lot while he was still with me. So before Rumpel came in, I helped Lady Parfait with herbal remedies. So you have no one. That's what I thought, but now I have everyone here. The Martian is my family now. Family. Princess, we are all happy to have you here, too. You really help out around the Martian, and I can tell Rumpel's happy to have you as a partner. The memory of what happened today slowly seeps back into my mind. I cannot help the irritation bubbling inside of me. I know he's a little overwhelming, but I'm pretty sure Rumpel's really trying to help you, just like he's helping Lady Parfait. It's not the same thing at all. Two of us continue working until Anise makes another wistful comment. The place I worked before this, I felt like there was warmth in that gigantic home, but it was stifled. That place isn't warm at all. I speak the words without even meaning to. Anise looks up at me curiously. Roderick, Ron, shut up! Stop bringing it up. I don't even want it. Stop. And hi, Naphis, how are you? The king suddenly started speaking to me when Mother died, but it was never enough. Before that, he was cold and distant, and even now he favors his new wife and children over me. They were people, but they all wore fake smiles. And my father, he was the worst of all. I may as well have never existed to him. Princess, I'm sorry. For what? You're talking about the palace, right? The king always seems so nice. He put his kingdom before his children. Anise fidgets nervously. I'm sorry. Apologies are not going to change the past. Sometimes apologizing seems like all we can do when we can't change something that's already happened. I think about Anise who tried to save my doll, and the way I fired her that day. Rumpel told me once that all I had to do was listen to people and sympathize with them. Could that also be true for finding out the truth? All I could do to make up for what I did to her is, I'm apologizing. I don't care. We're apologizing. I don't care. I don't care if it's right or wrong. I hope it's right though. I'm sorry. Anise looks at me, clearly shocked. She stares for a few moments before I scowl at her. Staring is rude. Oh, I was just... Why are you apologizing to me, Princess? It's for something I did that you wouldn't remember. That I wouldn't remember? You should tell me. I promise I won't hold it against you. It is not important. Anise's eyes are suddenly downcast, and no matter the attempt, her smile isn't as bright as it once was. I quickly finish stacking the bottles on the shelves. I am done. Okay, so that wasn't correct. I wanted to apologize to her, but she kind of did like the worst apology I've ever heard come out of anyone's mouth. So I guess, whatever, remain silent. It's not her fault that the doll was in the shape that it was. I fired her prematurely, even if she didn't give me the entire story. But she could be lying to me. She says she did not bring it up before, because she was ashamed. But it is far more likely that she is just making excuses for incompetence. But then, what reasons would she have for telling me that now? My heart plummets to the pit of my stomach, and suddenly I feel dizzy and irritated. Anise's eyes are suddenly downcast, and no matter the attempt, her smile is not as bright as it once was. So I am done. Anise turns to look at me with an unusually tired expression on her face. Thank you for listening, Princess, and telling me a little bit about yourself, too. I feel like I might have said too much. That wasn't right. What? I'm so confused. Why isn't it working? I'm sorry, blah 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 blah. Thank you for listening to me, Princess, and telling me a little bit about yourself, too. There is no right answer? Maybe? I feel like I might have said too much. I do not respond to Anise, but instead choose to head out the front door. Anise asks where I am going, but I just ignore her. I think about heading to town, but then reconsider. I decide to head to the forest instead. What? Yeah, it's enabled. What? Um, what? I'm so confused. Um, um, okay. I'm not looking at anything else. I'm looking at the correct answer for this. Apparently, apologizing to a niece is the correct one, so we'll just keep reading and hope it shows up. But that was really weird. Okay. I make my way to the... Wow, brain. Please read. Uh, I make my way to the forest clearing, and in the dark, everything feels a lot more comfortable here. A lot more comfortable. Here, I do not have to pretend to listen to everyone, and I do not have to talk about myself. I settle down on a rock and stare up at the sky. Oh! There it went. I apologized. But Anise did not even understand my apology, and even now I still cannot bring myself to trust those at the Martian. I sigh and find myself speaking aloud. LOL. I know, bro, I was like, what is it? Maybe I am the Ice Princess. Ah, but have you seen the beautiful sculptures that could be made from ice, Princess? Uh, oh! I turned to see Rumpel walking toward me, a broad grin on his face. Ice always sparkles in the sun. It glistens and stands so proudly where it's been sculpted. I stare at Rumpel blankly. He sighs and shakes his head. I'm sorry. That one was particularly bad, wasn't it? He sits down beside me, and his grin falters a little bit. I have no white lilies to give you this time, my sweet princess, but I will offer anything else you would need for me to apologize for my advice earlier today. I can offer anything. My words, my body. I cut Rumpel off as I am not in the mood for his usual behavior. You are always like this. All you ever do is flirt. Any meaningful thing you try to say is lost in the flattery you constantly give to people. It is shallow. You're right. What? I stare at him. Rumpel is still smiling, but it is not the same confident grin he wore earlier. Somewhere deep in my memories, I remember someone telling me off just like this. Many people enjoy flattery. Wow, sorry. Many people enjoy flattery, princess, and a lot of people are. Wow, I keep doing that. Sorry. And a lot of people are receptive to flirting, but nothing can measure up to a genuine compliment. But I stand by what I said before, that in making a person happy is a good deed. Look, I'll show you. Rumpelstiltskin's looking right at me, and I notice that his smile is gone. Peak, of all the women I've met, you are the most straightforward and honest. Many do not have the courage or the confidence to exhibit those qualities. And that is why I admire you, and why I will always take your words to heart, because I know you will always speak the truth. I look into Rumpel's eyes, which still have a gentle shimmer despite the darkness. For a few moments, his words float around in my head. No one has ever called my bluntness honesty before, and no one has ever complimented me for it. Rumpel told me that I deserve to be spoiled. Maybe it's because he sees the things I do in a more positive light. My, you're struck speechless by that, aren't you? You look cute with your cheeks so rosy, my sweet princess. I glare at him, and Rumpel just laughs in response. I put a hand to my cheek, suddenly self-conscious. Rumpel smiles at me, but it's not the usual playful smile. Right now he almost looks serious. Did he mean what he just said? Tell him off! Why do you have to be so dramatic when you gave me that compliment? I was dramatic? I cross my arms and Rumpel grins at me. I can't help it, princess. I am dramatic by nature. A compliment is, in some ways, a performance. So you did not mean what you said. No, I did. I swear I did. I was trying to show you how making a person happy could be a good deed. Complimenting a person on appearances is easier than complimenting them on their demeanor. You have to know a person for that. It was right! I meant what I said, princess, and I swear that this wasn't just me trying to weave spectacular words together. Earlier, I bet you made Anise happy, too. You were spying on our conversation? Bruh. I would never! Are you sure about that? I just happened to be making my way down the stairs very slowly. You don't even know what I was apologizing for. No, but you thought you had to have. But wow. But you thought you had to But you thought you had to after you listened to her, didn't you? I listened. I listen far more than you do. Princess, you've shattered my heart so many times there are permanent cracks. But do not worry, the cracks in my heart allow even more of you to make your way into it. Cringe. Rumpel awkwardly laughs while I remain silent. Anyway, there are different kinds of listening, Princess. Listening to sympathize is one kind. Try putting yourself in someone's shoes, trying to understand them. That is one of those ways. Then there is the kind of listening that is shallow. One pretends to listen without ever letting the words into their heart. Words are fickle things. Mother always told me that people lie and that they would say whatever befitted them. It is foolish to trust words. What if Bernice had been lying to me? Why would I put so much blind faith in people? Because, more often than not, people are good, Princess. I let out an exasperated sigh. Sometimes I cannot tell if I am angry or confused by Rumpel. Ah, what a beautiful sound! It is as if the sweet wind itself was gently tickling my ear. Ugh. Not reading. What the fuck? I hate these lines. They're so cringe, and I just. Mm. I slide away from him and scowl. Your scowl is adorable too, and you have such delicate lips. Right. I'm still convinced that his earlier compliment was just a lie. How can he say something genuine and then slide right back into his into this pitiful flattery? For a moment silence falls, and I find to my surprise that it is not awkward being alone with Rumpel. Will you accept my apology for earlier? I promise I will never try to get you to flirt with anyone ever again. Besides, if you Besides, if you flirted with another man, then grew fond of him, I would be devastated. That would never happen. I am off to save the world. Have a good stream, Pete. Thanks, Ron. You too. Hope to pop in later. I'll see you later. Bye. You didn't let me finish. I was going to say that I would be devastated, because that would mean that your heart belongs to someone else, and my heart belongs to no one. I will steal it like a thief in the night. Voice, why? That will also never happen. If not that, then I'll settle with making you smile at least once, because I'm sure you would shine as brightly as the sun if you smiled. You are unreasonably persistent. Love is a persistent endeavor, Princess. A man in love stops at nothing to win over the woman that he so adores. Then you must be in love with many women. Oh, I stand up. I appreciate you just complimenting me when you mean it. But, Princess, I mean every one of my compliments. I have no energy to chastise him right now, but at least I no longer have that anger inside from earlier. It's been a long day, and I'm going to bed. Would you like the company? I didn't mean. Good night, Rumpel. Good night, Princess Peak. I make my way back to the tavern, feeling surprisingly light. Still, even if Rumpel's words might make me happier than I care to admit, he is not doing a very good job of helping me with my curse. I might have to do this on my own after all. Chapter 5, The Doctor. We're halfway through! Already! Crazy. What a brilliant day! The sun is shining, the town is full of laughter, and I have my sweet princess here to accompany me. I cannot help but groan at Rumpel's optimism. Because we were both sent out to run errands. Because everyone thinks we make a wonderful couple. Let's go. Time for the chapter that took 3 business days. Literally. No, because we're partners. Partners, a couple, it may as well be the same thing. Half of the time Rumpel says some deep things. Half of the time Rumpel says some deep things. But then he says things like that. It's like he has two personalities. Probably does. No, it is not the same thing at all. I take out the list and scour it for the things we need to buy. More than half of it is already crossed out. I glance at the bags Rumpel is carrying. He refuses to let me carry any of them, insisting that it would be impolite to force the load on me. That leaves me with list duty. This is a lot more laid back than what I have to do at the Martian. Okay, now we have the general medicine restock for Anise. My area of expertise! Never fear, Street Princess, I will find everything we need. We already have a list. But Rumpel just hums enthusiastically as we continue our way, and I'm not entirely sure if he heard me or not. We arrive at the little medicine shop in the central plaza. A man exits through the front door, coughing so loudly people turn their head to stare at him. I wait for the man to pass so I can open the door to the store, but then I notice that Rumpel hasn't budged beside me at all. His eyes do a quick scan of the man before he slowly begins to walk toward him. Sir, you are sick. What's it to you? Even if I was sick, lad, there's nothing I can do. I don't have any money. Besides, it's not like this will kill me. It's just a cough. How long have you had your cough, sir? Seems like such a minor thing, but Rumpel suddenly looks so serious about it. He looks at the man with his eyes slightly narrowed, as if trying to see past him. It's been with me for more than 3 days. Coughs are pesky things, aren't they? They're usually the last thing to go, but at least they're not deadly most of the time. Even if you can't buy the medicine, sir, there are other at-home remedies that might help with your cough. Boy, I've already tried warm tea. My wife's given me enough of that. Water is good for your throat too, sir. Any kind of steam works too. If the cough is riddled with mucus, it'll be easier to expel with steam. When you can't afford the medicine, sometimes the simple things will help, and coughs stay for a while. So don't fret if you can't get rid of yours immediately. Well, I appreciate the advice. Not exactly what a doctor would tell me, but it'll have to do. Well, he is a doctor, so... The man thanks Rumpel before walking off. I noticed Rumpel looking down at the ground, a rather forlorn expression on his face. Is what he said true? About what, princess? About doctors not giving advice about at-home remedies? Most of the doctors don't believe in such things. They always think that medicines work better than at-home or herbal remedies. The medicines do help, but sometimes they aren't necessary. Yet you just gave him advice. Not everyone can afford medicine. Being a doctor means helping people, not taking advantage of their sickness to steal their money. Money was never a problem at the palace. Whenever I was sick, the palace staff made sure I had the best and most effective medicines. Do you remember what you were like as a doctor? I wanted to help everyone that showed up at my doorstep. Sometimes I couldn't, and it frustrated. I prescribed medicines when necessary, gave advice other times, and when things were dire, I performed small operations. He does seem a lot more serious when he is talking about health. Rumpel was silent for a few moments before his eyes light up once again. Anyway, shall we go stock up on our medicine? I thought you said medicine wasn't always helpful. Because it's not. But I also know that Anise mostly uses herbs, and that she tries to handle things without too much medicine. She's quite capable. LOL, it's the same store from the toy store, but they just build in bottles. Oh wait, I didn't read that. We enter the shop, and in no time at all, Rumpel spots the items on our list. We use up the rest of our money to buy the medicines and remedies that we need, and then we begin to head back to the tavern. On the way there, Rumpel strikes up a conversation again. So, Princess, have you given any thought to what I said before? About what? You've already forgotten? About making people happy. What? You know, you could make me happy right here and now by giving me a kiss on the cheek. Weirdo. I stare blankly at him before walking away. No thank you. And alas, my hopes are dashed again. When we are at the outskirts of town, I pause and Wow, frick. I pause and turn around. It is as if I can feel eyes at my back, but I do not see anyone openly staring at me. Is someone watching me? Suddenly, I feel warmth in my hand, then fingers interlace through mine. Rumpel pulls me a little closer, his expression oddly gentle. Don't worry, my sweet princess, you're safe with me. Suddenly, his face is a lot closer to mine, and I can see his features more closely. It is like the night in the forest, except his face is not marred by the same shadows. There is caution in his eyes, but it is not directed at me. Did you see someone following you? No, I just thought I felt someone looking at me. Better to stay together. We began walking again. Two of us begin to head back to the Martian. Rumpel has all the bags in one hand now. He hums a little bit as we walk. It is remarkably peaceful, so much so that I do not even mind him holding my hand. It suddenly feels a lot safer. I am so lost in reverie that I do not even notice when we turn and go in the opposite direction. This is not the way back to the Martian. On the contrary, it's just a more scenic path. Don't you like the forest, Princess? The shafts of light coming in through the coming in through the canopies, the soft blades of grass that tickle your ankles. It is such a romantic place. Yeah. No matter what he says, this does not lead back to the Martian. It is not a scenic path, or a path at all. It is picturesque, isn't it, Princess? It is, but this does not lead back to the Martian. No, but I figured taking this detour is safer. If someone is watching you, they're less likely to follow us straight to the Martian. Safer? But it's just the two of us. I have faith that I will be able to protect you, Princess. Also, the forest is a maze in and of itself. So I suddenly... Yep. I suddenly stop and let my hand fall away from his as I stare up at him. I wasn't expecting that level of cleverness from Rumpel. Rumpel looks proud of himself. He takes a step forward, bridging the short distance between us, and then suddenly his fingers are around my wrist again. But he does not lace his fingers through mine. Instead, he takes my hand in his and pulls it up to his face. Before I realize it, my hand is on his cheek, his hand cupping my own. Cringe! Princess, you can trust me. Always, I mean. I can sense that sometimes you trust me and sometimes you don't. But you don't need to be so cautious around me. I shower you with compliments because I believe you deserve them. No, because if someone did that to me, bro, I would throw my hand away. I'd be like, I would drag my hand back. I'd be like, no, dude, you're not gonna grab my hand and make me touch your face. That's weird. Oh, frick. I tell you that I enjoy being around you because I do. Oh, brother. Literally! I should be focusing on his words, but all I can look at are his eyes. What do I need to do for you to fully trust me? Mother told me that people lie, so how can I trust that everything he says is the truth? Perhaps if I stop throwing compliments at you. You would not be you without all the compliments. Oh, what am I saying? I always complain about his compliments, but the thought of a Rumpel without compliments is strange. So you do enjoy my compliments, sweet princess. No, What? Words have deserted you? I understand. Being so close to me would have the would have that effect on any woman. Where is the slap him option? I don't know, man. I'm looking for it. Something bright and angry flares up inside of me. Something that I don't understand. I pull my hand away from him, a scowl on my face. Was it my big mouth again, princess? Nah shit, really? Hmm. Come on, let us go back to the Martian. I start walking ahead and rushes to catch up with me. I clench my fingers and let out a sigh. Rumpel was being nice to me again, but I always reject his kindness. Because it cannot be real. Oh. Sorry. Days go by. I consider Rumpel's advice, but I refuse to flirt with anyone again. Yeah, please don't. I don't want to go through that again. But I have no idea how to make anyone happy. Rumpel told me that I could not make anyone happy without knowing anything about them, and listening to them like I did with Anise. But what reason do I have to listen to people? This is so frustrating. Days later, Rumpel and I sit at a table waiting for our work waiting for our work orders. Rumpel is on the verge of conversation when we suddenly hear Parfait speaking in the doorway. Rumpel picks up on the words before I do, and rushes over to the front door. He looks almost nervous. Who is at the front door? I excuse myself briefly, telling Anise that I will be back. I make my way over to the front door, and there I see three people in conversation. It is Rumpel and Parfait and a very pale man. The pale man looks like death itself, like he might just keel over. I can help him. Rumpel. He needs help. He can stay in my room instead. He can stay in my room instead. I can even restock the medicines on my own if need be. So please let me help him. There's a desperation in Rumpel's eyes that I have never seen before. He looks at Parfait pleadingly, all the while holding the man by the shoulder to steady him. What is happening? Oh, princess! This man heard about Rumpel through one of the men at the tavern. He's sick and doesn't have a lot of money to pay for treatment. He came here seeking Rumpel. He must have been able to find this place because he was cursed. Does he even have the money to pay? Rumpel turns to me with a frown on his face. I have never seen him look at me so sternly. Princess, you remember what I told you before. He was insistent that a doctor's #1 priority was to help their patient regardless of their monetary situation. Take him to your room then, Rumpel. I will have Anise assist you if she's willing. No, Anise does not need to worry herself. I think she'd want to help you. The two cut their discussion short when the man starts coughing and a terrible hacking cough that paralyzes him. Rumpel steadies him and then he begins to move him towards his room. Don't worry, princess. He'll be fine. What? I can see the worry on your face. Rumpel will be fine. Oh? Why would I worry about Rumpel? Because it's not like you to worry about someone you do not know at all. He looked so alarmed. I have never seen Rumpel look like that before. It is not like him. Rumpel knows what he's doing. I'll have someone assist you with serving today, so no worries. I'll have someone else assist you with serving today. Parfait comes through on her promise. When I go back to the bar, both Anise and Rumpel are gone. Karma, or Miss Karma, is there instead, looking disgruntled. Ugh. Waltz would be better at this. Why do I have to help? I highly doubt Karma's gonna do anything. He's just gonna sit there. Because Waltz is busy doing his puppet shows, and Rumpel is helping a sick man. Oh? Well, I guess there's nothing to do about this then, other than enjoy it. He flips his hair and smiles brilliantly. I will attract all of the customers today. Perhaps we should have a competition, Princess. Compete with yourself. I am really not in the mood for Karma right now. Then I shall definitely compete with myself, because challenging yourself is important. Karma picks up waiting tables fairly easily. I notice that he speaks very fondly to the girls, but they are not as receptive as they are with Rumpel. Many times they ask Karma where Rumpel is, and he seems agitated when he tells them that Rumpel is busy. They seem just as irritated. Once my break starts, oh crud. Once my break starts, I meet Karma at the bar. He looks depressed. I guess if you and Rumpel competed to woo girls, he would win. Girl? Oh, darling. If I were to shed my disguise right here and now, I would be the clear victor. Since without this disguise, women would flock to me, it is rather uncomfortable to have every woman in Angiel fall in love with you. You look like you're judging me, Princess. Because I am. Why are we so blunt? If only you understood my plight. Karma and Rumpel may speak similarly, but they are still so different. Karma is the type to complain. Rumpel never complains. He is overworking himself for someone else. Bruh. He is overworking himself for someone else, just like he went out of his way to apologize to me many times. My heart sinks a little as I think of him, and Anise helping out the sick man. Rumpel did not even want Anise going up there, so he probably wouldn't want me up there either. I could try to go visit him, or I could go back to my room. Let's go to Rumpel's room. I think I'll go check on him. Check on Rumpel? I didn't realize I was speaking out loud. I look at Karma, who furrows his eyebrows at me slightly. Honestly, I don't know how you can stand him as a partner. Why do you dislike Rumpel so much? A lot of things, Princess, but that fight is between us and doesn't involve you. Then do not involve me. You do not need to comment on us being partners. Karma looks at me, wide-eyed and a little shocked. Then a sort of knowing comes into his eyes and he smiles just a little bit. Yes, I think you should go visit him, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to get him off of your mind, would you? He laughs a little before picking up his tray and rushing off to continue his shift. I slowly make my way upstairs, my feet feeling heavy. For some reason, I feel like Karma was right. I make my way over to what I think is Rumpel's door. The door is slightly ajar, and I hear hushed voices on the other side. Those voices definitely belong to Anise and Rumpel. I slowly push the door open and quietly step inside. Rumpel and Anise are standing over the man who is covered in blankets and coughing. A series of bottles sit on the table close by. None of these herbal remedies are working. We need a medicine for this. I'm sorry, I don't have any more money to offer, Rumpel. Anise, please don't sound so sad. You've already tried helping as much as you possibly can. It's my fault for promising to buy the medicine that we need. I glance at the table, where a list is sitting. Beautiful cursive handwriting details everything that the patient needs. Everything is circled, except for some medicine at the very bottom that has a star next to it. Is that Rumpel's handwriting? Suddenly, the two of them turn. They both look shocked to see me. Princess, what are you doing here? I came to see how you were doing. Princess, I'm fine, but... He glances down at the man on the bed. Anise sighs out a little bit. We've given him what we can, but the one medicine that we need is something we can't afford. Even with the money I'm getting from Lady Parfait, it isn't enough. I walk into the room and glance at the list. I look over at the total for the medicine, then at the coins on the table that I hadn't noticed before. Did Rumpel use all his money for this stranger? What will happen if you do not get this medicine? Without this, the infection will spread and he goes silent as the man starts coughing again. I can read the answer in his eyes, even if he won't say it. The man could be in terrible danger. He could even die. Rumpel looks defeated. He does not look like himself at all. I glance at the coins again, then at the list. Without a second thought, I grab both the list and the coins. Princess, what are you? I'll be back. I leave the room even with Anise and Rumpel protesting behind me. I make my way to my room where I pick up the bag of coins that the king gave me when I went to the palace on the day I was cursed. Then I head for the door. I immediately head to the medicine store that we always frequent. I count out the coins that I need to buy the medicine. This will take all of my money, but it wasn't as if I was going to use it for something else. I rush back to the Martian with the medicine in a little bag, hoping that this is the one that, Rumpel, yeah, hoping that this is the one that Rumpel needs. It is dark by the time I get back to the Martian. I make my way to Rumpel's room again and notice that he is sitting on a stool beside the patient's bed, looking at him forlornly. Crud. Sorry, I accidentally clicked. When, yep. When I enter the room, his eyes go wide. He seems even more surprised when I hand him the bag. Princess, is this? He opens the bag and lets the little vial roll onto his hand. How did you buy this? I combined your total with the money I had left. Rumpel just stares at me, clearly flabbergasted. Then his expression morphs into something softer, something more relieved. He steps forward and suddenly his arms are around me. He grips me tightly and then I hear his voice in my ear. Thank you so much, Princess Peak. My heartbeat picks up slightly. It is so loud I think Rumpel might hear it, but when he pulls away he does not say anything. I'll have to thank you for this later, Princess, but for now you should leave. I don't want you to get sick. I am too dazed to disagree. I nod my head quietly before moving stiffly towards the door. I glance back at Rumpel one last time, noticing that he is checking the man's temperature. The moment I leave for the room, a flash of light emanates from my chest. Our first good deed! I accidentally touch the glass slipper at my neck, then pause as I stare down at it. Feel a soft gasp leave my lips when I notice the fragment of a second slipper. Woo! I got my first good deed. I bought the medicine for Rumpel, but I only added in a few more coins to buy it. So what I did today was considered a good deed? Well, yeah, girl, what? I am confused, but at the same time I am pleased that I actually managed to get a good deed. Yeah! Now I only need 2 more. The next day I go down to the tavern area to begin my work, but I am there a little early. Waltz is Waltz is working on his puppets at a table, eyebrows furrowed in concentration. When I walk in, he looks up at me and smiles. Then he raises his eyebrows. Princess, congratulations! You got your first good deed. I did. I knew you could do it. I nod in response. This praise makes me feel oddly proud. I continue my usual work, keeping an eye out for Rumpel as I work my shift, but he never appears. A few days goes by, and it is only after the man leaves, looking a lot healthier and stable than he was before, that I finally see Rumpel. I keep doing that. Sorry. He and the man speak at the front door to the tavern. No, really, sir, I couldn't take anything from you. Nonsense, you saved my life. I need to pay you back somehow. The man is holding money out to Rumpel, but Rumpel just shakes his head. I notice that there are dark circles under his eyes, and that he looks tired. I didn't help you for the money, but I insist. That money could be spent on better things, like your family. You may not take my money, but I promise I will pay you back. Your health is all the reward I need, I promise. I can't thank you enough. After the man leaves, I approach Rumpel. He turns to me and leans against the door, his smile still tired but bright. Ah, princess, come to heal my weary body, perhaps? I would so love another hug. My face becomes hot at the memory of Rumpel's hug from the other day. Ah, the natural rouge of your cheeks is so sweet, princess. It makes me feel infinitely better. And your necklace seems different? I reach up to touch the pendant. Every time I get a good deed, a piece gets added to my necklace. Oh, right! You helped with the medicine the other day. Of course that was a good deed, princess. It was very selfless of you. Thank you again for that. That man tried to thank you too, but you refused his money. Why? And why did you spend your money on him? Because life is invaluable, princess. No amount of money could ever be more important than a person's life. Even if it is someone you do not know? Yes, because everyone has a life, princess. They have loved ones, families, sweethearts. And if I can help them, I will. And I will gladly spend any amount of money to do so. Okay, fine. But why did you not accept any money from that man? Because no amount of money. You needed that money. How are you going to buy more medicines without any money? Rumpel's eyes widened. He was clearly not expecting me to ask that question. But he said before that he didn't have much money, and it was true. I can't take money from him when he doesn't have much of it to begin with. He was thanking you with money. You should have accepted it. Parfait pays you, does she not? Rumpel's shoulders sag when he sighs. Yes, even though I won't accept money from her face to face. She has she has to sneak it into my wallet. If she does that, why not just accept it from her? I'm trying to make a statement, princess. And Parfait does not seem to care because she sneaks the money into your wallet regardless. Ah, you have a point there. You're stubborn. We both are. Now I have a question. Why did you use your money on that man? You knew nothing about him. Did you do it for him? For yourself? Or for me, perhaps? Rumpel grins at me mischievously. Even with the tired eyes, I can still see the bright cheer in them. Hit the nail right on the head. Again, you're becoming easier to read, my sweet princess. Well, no matter why you did it, thank you. That medicine was necessary to help that man. I still think you should have accepted money from him. You could help him. You helped him and did him a service no one else would. You should have accepted his gratitude. Princess, I told you. Crossed my arms and frowned at him. You are so stubborn. Rumpel's face falters, and he looks at me sadly, almost guiltily. For some reason, the sight of him in such a state makes my heart sink. Wipe off that frown. You look better with a smile. Rumpel stares at me, shocked. Why is he staring at me like that? You like my smile? What? I did not say I. You liked my smile, and you complimented it too. Princess, you have no idea how much this means to me. Rumpel throws his hands in the air. I resist the urge to roll my eyes at him at the exaggerated reaction. You get compliments all the time from women. Yes, but none as honest as yours. That compliment is valuable because I know you absolutely mean it. So I will keep those words close to my heart because they are precious to me. It wasn't anything like the spectacular compliments he gives yet. He still looks so happy. You two seem to be getting along. Parfait appears behind us with a smile on her face. Sorry to interrupt, Peak, but Karma is slowly drowning in table work. Would you help him? Yes, of course. Rumpel looks disappointed as I am sent back to the bar, where Karma expresses immediate relief that I am back. Rumpel retires to his room early that day, and he is given the day off. Both Delora and Parfait can see the tiredness on his face just like I can. He does not reappear for the next day. At the end of my shift, I retire to my room for the rest of the day. When I get downstairs in the morning, I am met with a familiar sight. Both Karma and Rumpel stand on opposite sides of the table, their voices rising in argument. They are fighting again? Ugh! I happen to catch their words as I walk quietly down the stairs. Who are you to criticize my work ethic when you were gone for several days, leaving me with your workload? It wasn't like I wanted to, and who are you to criticize how I work? All of the ladies I spoke to said that you shower them with compliments. What kind of professional behavior is that? I am having a hard time believing you're a professional in the way that you flaunt yourself. At least I don't flirt with people to attract their attention. Oh, and you flirt with them and don't even realize the effect it has on other people. Flattery is not a crime. Just yesterday, the princess came to see you in your room, all because you gave her the impression that you liked her. Whoa, what? Were you actually spying on her? And you call me uncouth. Uncouth, whatever. Yep. No, I overheard her say it. And you're wrong. I would never say anything if it isn't truthful. Ah, well then, the truth of the matter is that you must be in love with many women. Because they all seem to think that you'll get down on one knee and propose to them. You say some sly things, Miss Karma, and yet you're the biggest liar of us all. Ooh. At least I don't lie to my partner. Oh, God. I feel like we have to defend Rumpel, but I kind of want to watch from afar. Rumpel tells me that he never lies. He tells me that he wants me to trust him. Though I still find it hard to believe, I do want to trust him. I walk down the rest of the stairs and stop at Rumpel's side. Both men look equally surprised to see me there. Rumpel has never lied to me yet. Karma looks up and stares at me for a few moments, looking startled at my sudden appearance. Then he sighs. Princess, a man that flatters everyone doesn't flatter anyone. At least he's not so conceited that he flatters himself constantly. Whoa. Such a sharp tongue you have, Princess. And you are very quick to jump to assumptions. You two are at it again? I don't think that was right. Going back, going back. Okay, I'm kind of glad though, because I do want to watch from afar. I don't feel like we should get involved. This is their fight. I have no reason to jump in to defend anyone. I watched their fight from the middle of the staircase. The two of them have never seemed to notice me standing there. I have never lied to the princess. Sometimes people might assume different intentions of my flattery, but I never lie. That is exactly what a liar would say to defend himself when he knows that he's been caught. Liar? The only liar here is you. Excuse me? You'll have to know that I never lie. Then what is this about Miss Karma, One moment you say it's a disguise, the next moment you say... Rumpel flinches back as Karma stands taller and clenches his hands into fists. I begin to make my way down the staircase. I come in a stop in between the two men, who seem surprised to see me. I am about to speak when the sound of footsteps distracts me. You two are at it again? Jurian stops at the table and frowns at them. Both men glance away from her cold gaze. Karma murmurs something before excusing himself. Rumpel looks down at the table, his eyebrows knit together with frustration. What is wrong with you two? Why can't you just be civil with each other? Jurian, you never see how these fights start. Karma is every bit a beast, attacking me for no good reason at all. But with your keen eye, you should be able to discern that, right? Flattery won't work on me, Rumpel. And second, I doubt these fights start with without any bit of prompting from you. I swear I don't start anything. Karma is just always irritable. He's like a woman during that time of the month. Whoa! I don't think that was right either. That is crazy. That was wrong. That was wrong. We're going back to what we. Rumpel hasn't lied to me yet. Bum, ba, 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 ba. Such a sharp tongue you have, Princess. And you are very quick to jump to assumptions. The two of you are at it again? Jurian stops at the table and frowns at them. Both men glance away from her cold gaze. Karma murmurs something before excusing himself. Rumpel looks down at the table, his eyebrows knit together with frustration. What is wrong with you two? Why can't you just be civil with each other? Jurian, you're never here to see how these fights start. Karma is every bit a beast, attacking me for no good reason at all. But with your keen eye, you should be able to discern that, right? Flattery won't work on me, Rumpel. And second, I doubt these fights start without any bit of prompting from you. I swear I don't start anything. Karma is just always irritable. He's like a woman during that time of the month. I hate that line. Okay, I'm looking up what the answer is because I don't know what's happening and it's taking forever to let me know what the thing is. Because now I'm like, okay, so it is defend Rumpel. Alright. So we chose the right one. It just didn't feel right. I was very confused. Okay. Jurian walks away stiffly, leaving me with Rumpel. I look at him, a little irritated by his earlier comment. He gives me a sheepish smile. Thank you, Princess. For what? For defending me. I swore I meant what I said. I would never lie to you. For every one of my every one of my compliments. Every one of my thank yous. You must know that, since you came to defend me. Rumpel, sometimes you continue talking when nothing needs to be said. But I am just expressing the depths of my gratitude. It is not necessary. It was such a small thing, too. Princess, can you give me some help with inventory? I am coming. As I turn away, Rumpel waves. I'll see you later, Princess. Who knows? You might get your second good deed. I resist the urge to roll my eyes. It feels like it will be a while yet before I can achieve my next good deed. Chapter 6. Strings of Fate. Woo! Okay. So much reading! What a brilliant day! The sun is shining, the town is full of laughter, and I have my sweet princess here to accompany me. That actually didn't feel like it took that long. Yeah, I feel like that was the shortest chapter 5. I memorized it. That means you must pay attention to my words. That in itself is a compliment, Princess. It is not. We are on our way to the usual store to restock our medications when a small figure leaves out through the front door. She looks at us with a lost look on her face. Oh? Huh. Rumpel reacts. Sorry, hold on. Rumpel reacts immediately, making his way over to her with a broad smile. Madam! I cannot help but notice the pained expression upon your beautiful face. Is there anything I can do to assuage your Assuage? assuage your worries. For seeing your lovely face shadowed by such sadness stabs me right in the heart. The woman stares at Rumpel, dumbfounded. His smile wavers and he takes a step back, suddenly looking alarmed. Oh, I'm sorry. It's you! Huh? I'm so sorry. This is awkward, madam, but I am afraid I do not know you. What? Or do I? Do I know you? I take a step forward and look at the woman flatly. He has been cursed. He has amnesia. Uh, Amnesia? The woman stares at Rumpel, scrutinizing him. You do seem different. Changed from before, in any case. So you knew me from before? How terrible is it of me to forget such a lovely face. But perhaps you could help me remember? The usual flirty suggestion in his voice, but the woman seems unaffected. I can help you remember. You can? It is no wonder I can't remember your name. You have the fairy tale curse, don't you? Who is this woman? You truly don't remember me? I'm sorry. The woman looks conflicted, but the expression is gone as fast as it appears. Are they siblings? I'm Bria, your fiance. Fiance? Fiance? What? What? Oh, shit! Sheesh! What? The shock is apparent on my face, but nowhere near as impressive as the astonishment on Rumpel's face. My fiance? She has to be lying. How can Rumpel possibly have a fiance with the way that he is? He is barely able to dedicate himself to a single woman for an hour. Bria takes a step forward and takes Rumpel's hands in her own. You don't remember holding my hands like this when you took me to the forest and proposed to me? Rumpel opens his mouth, but no words escape. He reminds me of a lost dog all of a sudden, with his eyes so wide. Oh my gosh! Bria runs her fingers over his hands. I loved you. You loved me. And I still love you very much. I don't remember this. How can I help you remember? Rumpel's voice is faint, but he still tries to smile. The circumstances of the curse tell me that I need to remember through memories and, a journal somehow. A journal? I have your old journal. I have your old journals. I can show you the very first love letter you wrote me. Bria starts walking, her hands still clasped in Rumpel. I stare after them for a few moments, trying to piece together what is happening in my head. I chase after them. Bria enters a house, one that Rumpel stares at in awe. When she comes back out, she is holding a journal. She hands it to Rumpel, then opens up to the first page. This is a little embarrassing, but there it is, your compiled letters into a journal. Rumpel slowly reads over the words, and I notice the strange glazed look come back into his eyes as his expression grows more somber. This is like the last time when he remembered that he was a doctor. Bria turns to me as Rumpel is reading, and her eyebrows arch. And who are you? His partner. Partner? We are helping each other with our curses. Oh, you're cursed too? You poor thing. Bria's voice is flat. She is glaring at me beneath her smile. What the fuck? I have done nothing to merit this distrust from her, and I cannot bring myself to trust her either. Bria. Rumpel looks up from the journal and stares at her. Yes, sweet? Rumpel's melancholy expression throws me off. Last time he was so excited when he realized he was a doctor, but now his expression is heartbreaking. I remember. I did propose to you. in the forest when it was dark, and you set up the little lights around the clearing. We spoke for a while, and then when you got down on one knee, you dropped the ring. It had fallen on the roots of some tree. We only noticed it when a bird came down to pluck it out of the bramble. I had no idea what you were looking for, but I still chased after the bird. And you got the ring back, and you knew. Bria holds out her hand. I noticed a beautiful red green gem on the ring on her finger. On her ring finger. Wow, that was struggling. That's pretty. It was still charming, though. I laughed for so long because it felt so memorable. Plucking your engagement ring out of a bird's beak. You're right. Rumpel smiles, a little uncertainly. In that moment, I feel him turn away from me. He doesn't even realize I am there, standing with Bria. Why am I feeling so uncomfortable? I mean, I feel like anyone would be uncomfortable if two lovers were like reuniting kind of thing. You'd be like, oh, I'm like awkward. I'm interrupting something. Let me go away. You said you were helping Rumpel with this curse, yes? She turns to me. There is no worry. I can help him now. This is what couples do. I have to force the pity out of my heart. I have to force myself to think rationally. Something still seems off about this. But Rumpel remembers. Which means this is the truth, isn't it? Um, I'm still his partner. I still feel something is wrong. I do not trust this woman. Do you know anything about him, dear? Have you helped him regain any of his memories? She was with me when I regained my memories. Peak is a very valuable good luck charm. Rumpel flashes a small smile at me before turning to Bria. It was right! Turning to Bria. Her eyes seem a lot colder now. Tell me, what do you go by now, until we figure out your name? I need something to call you. Rumpel. Bria's cold gaze falls on me, and I can sense something in them that surprises me. Jealousy. Why would she be jealous of me? Rumpel, would you maybe want to come back home with me? What? I know you must be overwhelmed, but our home might be able to help you remember. I know. Ah! But I. But our home might be able to help you remember some things. I'm. I'm sorry, I actually have a patient somewhere else that I need to tend to. Bria's eyes flash briefly. Her frown is there for a few seconds before she smiles again. You always were good with your patients. I'm sorry. It's okay. I understand that you're overwhelmed. But remember, now that I am here for you too, I want to mend things, to make them go back to what they were before. Want to mend things? Did that mean they had a fight or something? How about you look over that journal when we meet again tomorrow? We can take this one step at a time. I would like that. We can get to know each other again, and in time, I'm sure you'll remember what we used to have. I loved you, and I did too. I still do. A slight shiver runs down my spine as I stare at the two of them. I feel so awkward. We're just like listening in on this. There's that uncomfortable feeling once again. Yeah, it's because you're like just standing there awkwardly to the side. Bria and Rumpel agree on a spot to meet tomorrow. Bro! On a spot to meet tomorrow, and then she leans up to kiss Rumpel on the cheek. She puts a hand on his cheek as she walks off with a gentle smile on her face. Are you okay? He looks at me, and for a few moments I feel that his gaze lingers longer than it normally does on my own eyes. Then he smiles and laughs. Of course I am, Princess. I just remembered something about my past. I'm guessing that the second entry has appeared in my journal by now. I can't wait to get back to the Martian and read it. Bria has the rest of my journal, so I might truly be able to remember everything if I talk to her. Including your love for her? He sighs out before he proclaims that we should finish our errands. I follow him around the town wow, what? though the scenery lacks its usual vibrancy. I don't know why I thought that said sanctuary. Rumpel doesn't speak to anyone, not even the girls, while we walk. He keeps his eyes focused on the ground, and when he speaks to the shop owners, his cheer is lukewarm at best. I try to start a conversation with him many times, but he shies away from talking. I feel like there is something he is not telling me. When we arrive at the Martian, Rumpel quickly excuses himself, not even sharing his epiphany about his past with anyone. What has him so bent out of shape? He just regained another memory. I'm assuming he is going to go read about it now. It is not like him to hide things. I hope Rumpel is okay. Bum, 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 bum. It has been frick. It has been about a week since Rumpel regained his last memory. He has been meeting with Bria since then, but he still hasn't told me about the memory from the journal. He does not flirt with any girls. When he sees me, his smile looks broken. He spends his days visiting Bria and tending to Parfait. You're worried about Rumpel, aren't you? Why would I be worried about him? Because Rumpel is no longer able to run errands with me, Waltz decided to take his place. But Waltz's presence cannot make up for Rumpel's absence. He'll be fine, Princess. He's still figuring things out. I do not trust that woman. His fiancée? She appeared out of nowhere. People who aren't cursed can't find the tavern, Princess. She never would have been able to find him. So really the only place she could have met him was out here in nowhere. I can tell that he is teasing me, but it does little to lift my spirits. I know. Waltz sighs. If you don't trust her, why not just ask around for her? She obviously does not want to talk to me. No, I mean ask others about her. So long as you find a way to phrase your intentions honestly, I think they might understand you. Rumpel says my honesty is good, but I also know that the way I speak frustrates many people. Come on, I'll help. Waltz approaches a flower shop, where several people are gathered to look at the fresh flowers. Excuse me, madam, sir. I was wondering if you knew anything about someone named Bria. We hear that she is engaged to a friend of ours, but he hasn't said much about her. Oh? Everyone calls me Blut, but I would never question others so openly. Does Waltz really expect the people to be so open to him? Oh, if it isn't Waltz! Doing a little investigative work, are you? Just looking to find out more... Whoa. Just looking to find out more about someone important to a friend. Not gonna put this in one of your shows, are you? Waltz raises an eyebrow and laughs. Of course not. Everyone just trusts Waltz. Suppose he must speak to people often, being a performer. They would probably never suspect Waltz to do anything morally questionable. And yet with me they are suspicious of everything that I did. I guess it is a good thing Waltz is here. I stifle a sigh as the so-called investigation begins. But Bria? Hmm? I was under the impression that her fiancé wasn't seeing her anymore. Oh. Bria. Oh, poor Bria. I heard that poor dear made a mistake, and that her fiancé threw her out for it. Is she engaged to someone new now? I'm not surprised, given the affair she had on her first fiancé! Excuse me, what did you just say? Oh, you aren't aware? I'm terribly sorry. Perhaps I shouldn't have said anything. You said she cheated on her first fiancé? She was engaged to some man, a doctor, I believe. He was a good man, always smiled, helped everyone, including the poor. I don't see how she would have the gall to do it, but the rumors state that she was seeing another man. I think I saw them out together sometimes. He was a rich businessman. Who was he? I believe he was one of the doctor's patients. Best viewers on. Hello, welcome in. How are you today? Did anyone see this for sure, ma'am? Oh, lots of people did. And that's why the poor man stopped seeing her. Bless his heart, he looked heartbroken. But then the two of them were engaged, so she would have been more committed to him. When Bria first approached Rumpel, she had no idea he had amnesia. She started apologizing to him. Was that for that affair, or am I just speculating? We thanked the woman for her help before continuing to ask around town for more information. The more we hear, the more certain we become. She cheated on him. Oh my gosh. Princess, I know what you're thinking, but it would be incredibly rash to tell Rumpel about this. No, we're telling Rumpel! The fuck? I don't care. But she is lying to him. Yeah. No, if I ever was cheated on, I would want someone to tell me straight up. Like, and even if it isn't true, I still would want to, like, know that people are saying that so that I could communicate with my partner, you know? Like, whatever. I can still remember the sadness in his eyes. Maybe somewhere deep down he still knows. Did his journal entry not say anything? You could try talking to him, Princess, but without any evidence, we're just going off of rumors. If you were wrong, I think that would hurt the situation a lot more. I am forced to acknowledge Waltz's reasoning. As much as I want to tell Rumpel right now, I do not even know where he is. We finish our errands for the day, and then return to the Martian, where I complete my chores around the tavern before retiring to bed. Later that night, after turning for hours in bed without any success of sleep, I make my way downstairs for a glass of milk. I stopped abruptly at the sound of hushed voices. Parfait and Rumpel are sitting together at a table, their voices soft. It means a lot to me that you are still taking care of me, even with everything that you have on your plate. When things are uncertain as they are right now, the little things that remain the same are actually comforting. What? No compliments tonight? He clears his throat. Lady Parfait, I always find comfort in your presence. Your heart is not in it, is it? Please don't stress yourself out trying to take care of me. I've seen the orders of the medicine and the dosages. I can take care of myself, Rumpel. I owe you and Lady Delora for letting me stay here. Even now you could have kicked me out, yet I'm still here. This isn't the confident Rumpel that I'm used to seeing. It's rather heartbreaking to see you like this, you know. Parfai's eyes drift past Rumpel, and she sees me before I can dart away. I think you're worrying your partner, too. Rumpel turns in his seat, and stares at me. Princess? I slowly make my way toward him. I'm sorry, Princess, I haven't been trying to help you at all. It's fine. Parfai's right, though. It's not like you to be so pitiful. Ah, your words are still sharp as ever. I glance at Parfait curiously. The light of the tavern the light of the tavern lights her face up dimly, making it look more ghostly than usual. She looks sicklier. Do you think I look like a ghost, Princess? Yes. By the time night comes round, I am utterly exhausted. You said you were like this because of the Tenebrarum Lucius you have to take care of? That's correct. I used to be able to watch over it more easily, but now with the balance between both crystals lost in the kingdom, it's getting harder. This responsibility is a big burden, and it's a heavy toll on my body. But that does not diminish any of my pride. I am proud to bear this responsibility. Someone needs to do it, and I'm very glad I could help so many people through bearing this burden. What would happen if you just let the responsibility go? There would be even more chaos than there is now. And what of the Tenebrarum bearer? Would they not help you with your stress? There is no Tenebrarum bearer currently. What? Parfait stares at me for a few moments, a complicated expression on her face. Then suddenly she sighs. Please do not worry about me, Princess. I've lived a good life. I just want to do more. I just want to do more good while I still live. Yeah. And I'm very lucky to be surrounded by so many good people. Anyway, the two of you should be off to bed soon. I can tell you're both tired. Parfait pauses to look at me, eyebrows still arched. Oh, but before you go, there was something I meant to ask you. Ask me? Parfait crosses her arms and looks at me tersely for a few moments. The look is so unlike her that it almost concerns me. She looks uncertain of something, though I cannot imagine what it is. What could she want to discuss with me? I wanted to ask if you were free the day after tomorrow. I am free whenever my schedule says I am. Then if you could spare 20 or so minutes, I want to speak with you about something very important. Important? I suppose you could say it is related to your curse. Fine. Parfait smiles at us before walking back to her room, leaving me alone with Rumpel. Rumpel smiles at me, uncertainly. For a few moments I think he might actually talk to me, but then he rushes off after giving me an apology. I watch him walk up the stairs. My heart's sinking. I need to know what's going on with him. Today is my day off. I keep on the lookout for Rumpel. Eventually I see him making his way down the staircase. He does not look quite as disheartened as last night, but his expression is still rather somber. He says good morning to everyone, as he usually does, then walks out through the front door. And that is my cue. Following behind Rumpel without being seen proves to be remarkably easily. Even if he is perceptive, he won't be expecting me to follow after him when I normally work during these hours. He makes his way through the town until he comes to a stop at a little cafe in the main plaza. It is cleverly hidden, just slightly out of view, not at all in plain view as like the rest of the shops. Bria is sitting waiting for him at a table with a journal. The way she smiles at him numbs my heart. I make up my way over to the nearby fountain and crouch beside it to keep out of their view. I can hear their conversation, just barely, from where I sit. You know? I'd been searching for you a long time when I saw you. You suddenly disappeared from the house one night and I couldn't find you. Why? Why did I leave the house? I don't know. Was it a fight? No, not a fight. We barely ever fought. We made a promise when you gave me this ring. We promised we would never make each other sad. Uh-huh. I close my eyes and breathe. Bria's words drive a bitterness through my heart after everything I heard. It is impossible those rumors were baseless, but isn't it also possible that they were the truth? And Rumpel mentioned a fight. Now's my chance to tell him. I don't feel like we should, do it right now. I don't feel like that's a good idea. Not right now, you know? But if somehow everything that we heard was one big lie, I would hurt Rumpel. Would I hurt Rumpel? I also have my pride. I cannot just accuse someone, even if I feel that Bria is guilty of something. I step away from the fountain, meaning to head back the way I came. Even if the situation sounds wrong, I feel that Rumpel would hate me getting involved. I am surprised then when he calls my name. Princess? What are you doing here? Oh, shit. He saw me? Does he know I was behind the fountain? Spying, are we? Fuck you, bitch. Okay, you're rude. I make my way over to the table to where Rumpel is looking at me with worry, and Bria is openly scowling at me. Is there something wrong, Miss Partner? Not with me, but perhaps with you. Ooh, excuse me. You seem to have quite the reputation. Princess? I have no idea what you're talking about, but people's words at face value is foolish. Mother would have said the same thing, but why would they lie? So it is not true that you were seeing another man? How dare you? Bria stands up and glares at me. I frown back at her. Her anger does not faze me. She seems like a petulant child. I can't stand jealous girls. They are the bane of my existence. And you're what? 18? 17, but what does that even matter? Either way, there'd be just about a 6-year age gap between you two. That's really weird. Why'd they have to bring that into light? 24? Gods, am I really so ancient? LOL. Oh man. The two of us look at him in unison, then back at each other. I Bro, that was so funny. He really was like, I'm ancient. Like, I'm here because I want to help my partner, and because you are lying to him. And who are you to say that I'm lying? You're a terrible spy is what you are. Hiding places to watch us, going around town asking about me? I'm telling you now that Rumpel doesn't need you, especially if you're the one spewing lies. Those words have no weight coming from a hypocrite. Wait, ladies. Rumpel looks between the two of us, eyebrows furrowed. Then he shakes his head. Bria, I knew. It was in my journal. What? I had a feeling. I mean, there was no way he wouldn't have written it in his journal. I mean, like, come on. Rumpel faces Bria, his expression crumpled. It was that lord, wasn't it? The one I refused to take money from that one time I helped him? He told me himself. I think that's why this feeling inside of me is so mute right now. Why I was always having second thoughts about your stories. Bria, why didn't you ever tell me you were seeing him? I asked you that question back then too, but you never told me. And so I was waiting for you to bring it up again. I was waiting for you to explain. I was waiting for... As if I could ever get anything through that thick skull of yours. I cannot stop myself but staring at her when she insults Rumpel. But with this, she has admitted that the rumors are true. Even if I explained myself, all you would ever say is that you were sorry, but nothing ever changed. What did I do that was so wrong? Look at you. Even now you can't bring yourself to be angry at me. You knew the truth, and instead of demanding to know why I did what I did, you kept asking what you did wrong. But you'll never realize what you did wrong, Rumpel. Never. Some things never change. Bria scowls as she makes her way around the table. Rumpel tries to call her back, but Bria only frowns as she walks off. Rumpel lets out a long sigh. And there go all of my journals, too. Right, he said that Bria had all of his old journals. I am sorry. Huh? I only made things worse. I'm still not entirely sure what they were talking about, but... Princess, you don't have to apologize for anything, though. Though, I would like you to apologize for shedding some light on my age. What? What? Am I really, truly that old? 24 is not old! Is 24 old? 24 is not old. 24 is not old. Suddenly he looks disgruntled, but the look of distraught on his face is almost comical. I cannot help it when I smile, and then I start to laugh. 24 is ancient? Apparently. I don't know. Apparently to this game. Do my ears deceive me? Is that the wonderful sound coming from your mouth, princess? How precious. It's just, you are an old man. If I... 24 isn't old! If I am an old man, then I'm young at heart. Besides, I would be a lot more offended if you weren't smiling when you said that. While you said that. After a few moments, Rumpel sighs and shakes his head. I'm sorry you had to see all of that. I knew there was more to the story than Bria was letting on, because I read the memory in my journal. You knew about the nobleman? Why did he not say anything? Like I said, I was waiting for her to say something. I wanted her to open up about it honestly. Bria is undoubtedly bold, but I doubt she is at all honest. The journal entry. I never read it to you. You have been distant the last week. I have been, and I'm sorry for that. But allow me to enlighten you. Rumpel gestures to the chair that Bria had been sitting in, and I take a seat opposite him. First, the nobleman was one of my patients. He had a grievous sickness, one that no one else had been able to cure. I cannot help but remember the little boy with the impossible sickness. It seemed he was drawn to Rumpel too. Rumpel was not able to help that boy on his own either. Some woman offered her assistance. Did you manage to cure him with the help of the same woman? It is another cryptic entry, but yes. The mysterious woman from the first entry reappears. We strike another deal, but I cannot remember the deal at all. All I know is that afterwards I did something to make Bria hate me, and she began seeing the nobleman. Or maybe it was or maybe it was before that. Maybe she was just unhappy. She won't explain why. She still cheated on you. That is her fault, not yours. Rumpel nods absently. I can tell he's not convinced. I don't understand why people cheat. I really don't. Like, if you are unhappy in a relationship and you're like too immature to communicate your unhappiness kind of thing, don't cheat. Just break up. Like, there's no point in you like breaking their heart even more than what you're already going to do. I don't get it. Oh well. In any case, even though I can't remember the entirety of what happened, every time I thought of Bria, I thought of our love in a past tense. Yeah, for real. No, for real though. For real, for real. Rumpel frowns is but Rumpel frowns, but it is fleeting. Suddenly he is smiling again. Let's head back for now, princess. I'll figure out how to reach Bria later. I follow Rumpel back to the Martian. Though he seems fine for a time, Rumpel's somberness returns as we head back. He looks like he is trapped in his thoughts. He needs the rest of his journals, but how is he going to get a hold of them now? Why does she have all of them? I thought he kicked her out. Oh, princess, you're here. Sorry, we're late. The princess is gracing us with her presence? Parfait said a few days ago that she had something to discuss with me, so I am here. Then let's get right to it, shall we? She plops down on one of the chairs and Parfait sits down gracefully beside her. Is this when we find out that we're the next that we are not the next Tenebrarum bearer? I think so. Princess, the other day you asked me about my responsibility and briefly about the Tenebrarum bearer. I did, but what does this have to do with me? It has everything to do with you, because when it comes to that second inquiry, the answer is right here. Delora points at me. I stare at her, not comprehending. Princess, the bearer to the crystallum tenebrarum is you. What? I am not able to even feel shock, just confusion. But how do I have anything to do with these crystals? See, I told you she'd be confused. It's because we started backwards. I'm so sorry, Princess. I do not understand. Do you remember the story about the crystals, Princess? For a time, the crystals were in complete balance. Even the witches who drew on negative energy were respected. Then one day, Hans wrote the fairy tales. Witches were suddenly painted as villains. Humans attacked the witches, trying to drive them out. Their leader, who just so happened to be my best friend, was hard-pressed to try to keep the peace. She was the original bearer of the crystal. But as witches were killed and thrown out, she found her patience wearing thin. She killed a human, the ultimate taboo, and there was nothing we could do but try to stop her. This bearer, the leader of the witches, and the bearer of the Crystallum Tenebrarum, is someone you know. Tenebrarum is someone you know. Or someone you knew. She erased all your memories, made you think that the fairy tales were evil, and that humans were terrible. I feel something dark stirring inside me. A sharp pain cuts through my heart, making it hard to breathe. The previous bearer of the crystal was your mother, Princess. Hildur was the leader of the witches. It is impossible. Mother was not a witch. But she was, the strongest of us all. When she died, she kept some of her power sealed within the crystal, which is why it allows the fairy tale curse to be spread. What kind of lie is this? I cannot use magic, and Mother never told me that she was a witch. She would have told me. It sounds like it, doesn't it? But I assure you, Princess, we would never ever lie to you about something like this. As impossible as it seems, you are a witch. Your power won't manifest until you're 18, and at that time, you will inherit control of the crystal. Since your birthday is soon, that is the last chance we had to teach you goodness. Your mother has been shielding you from it for so long. We trusted you were different from her, and you are. But Mother was the only one that ever loved me. She stole away your memories and made you hate the world. Delora, she was fostering hatred in you, making you just like her. You do not know anything about Mother. I stand up, rage coiling inside of me like a snake. Peek. I know a lot about her, more than you ever will know. No. The truth is hard, Princess, but eventually we all have to face it. I mean, there are a lot of things, like, that children don't know about their parents. Hilda was my beloved friend. Facing her was the hardest thing I have ever done. We only want to help you. Well, you're not very good at it. Turn on my heels and storm out of the room. I feel that there was more to what Delora and Parfait wanted to say to me, but I cannot stand to hear it right now. I walk into the clearing and sit against a tree, furiously rubbing at my eyes, trying to clear my as I try to clear my dangerously watery eyes. Showing emotion is weak. I sit there for a long time in the clearing, trying to calm myself. My thoughts spin wildly out of control. Princess? I see him out of the corner of my eye, standing between two trees, his eyebrows knit together with worry. What, you were listening? Listening? No, I just came to look for you in your room, and when I came downstairs, Parfait told me you had run out into the forest. May I sit next to you? I say nothing as he walks over to me. He sits down beside me, his hands resting on his knees as he looks up at the canopies of the trees. Thank you for today, Princess, for coming after me and trying to make things right. I am not in the mood to talk about this right now. My thoughts are too scrambled. Sometimes, truths are hard. How do you know it was the truth? A feeling. Trusting people is hard sometimes, I understand. He looks at me and his eyes seem to glimmer softly in the moonlight. Would you like someone to listen to your problems, Princess? Okay, we're gonna have to start writing over some slots. I think think I'm gonna remain silent. My problems. Why would he want to know about my problems? I understand what it's like, Princess, to have a secret stuck inside of you. To want to keep things to yourself because you're worried that someone will prove you wrong. But you can always talk to me about it. Why are you so interested in my problems? I told you before that the best thing you can do is listen to a person. That's how you learn to sympathize. Besides, I honestly care about you. I will always listen to you, Princess. Rumpel slowly reaches out to rest his hand on top of mine. I sit up straight and stare at him, my eyes wide. Rumpel smiles at me, a slow, soft smile that crinkles the edges of his eyes. Seeing such a beautiful lady close to tears makes my heart break, you know. But if you ever need to cry, you should. Tears aren't weakness. They're just a form of expression, and even the strongest of us cry. I am not going to cry. My mind reels, and then I start to feel fuzzy. Fuzzy, dizzy, fuzzy, fuzzy. Definitely the Ice Princess. The title startles me out of my thoughts. I stare at him pointedly, beginning to grimace, but Rumpel just smiles. I always thought it was a delicate name, suitable for a strong, beautiful woman. Seeing you like this, it makes me realize that the name suits you. Perhaps if everyone else is meant wow, hello. Perhaps if everyone else meant it that way, it would not it would not be so terrible. So terrible a title. Rumpel slowly takes his hand away and smiles. Though he insists on hearing me out, I insist on the opposite. For now, I want to keep what I discussed with Parfait and Delora to myself. I need some time to process it. For tonight, I just want to forget that the conversation ever happened. For some time, the two of us are silent. There are no words exchanged between the two of us, but the silence is comfortable. And eventually, Rumpel puts a hand on my shoulder. Things will work out, Princess. I hope so. I stand and excuse myself. Good night, Rumpel. I turn and walk away. Good night, my sweet princess. Chapter 7. Chapter 7. Muddled Truths. Okay. I think I'm going to end the game here, but I think I'm going to stop stream and then have us take a break where we get food and stuff like that. We can eat, get food, relax for a few minutes, and then I'll stream again, and I think I'm gonna play some Stardew. But yeah, so thank you guys for watching. Watching this part of the stream. We will be right back after a short, longish break. And I hope to see you guys when we come back. So I'm going to stop stream, but I promise I will stream again after I finish eating and all of the stuff. So yeah, I'll see you in a bit. Bye guys.